Thanks a lot, Paul, and it's a real pleasure to be here today to update you on what has really been a transformational few months for our company. For those that have been coming to the RRS for a while, you may remember us as Orteco Minerals, and just recently we've changed our name to FireFly on the back of this fantastic copper acquisition that we've made in Canada. And, you would have heard a lot of narrative from investors, from analysts, from economists about copper and how, there is a real structural deficit in the quantity and supply of copper coming in coming years. So, one of the things that we've been looking for is to get into copper, and we think we've timed this run absolutely perfectly, and the quality of the asset that we've picked up and the growth potential is just phenomenal. So, okay, I'll run you through the Green Bay project. Basically, it's in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and we'll talk a little bit about that later, but it is a Tier 1 jurisdiction from a mining perspective in every sense of the word. We got this mine out of receivership. We paid a very minimal amount for it, given the value of the resource. You can see there we've already got 40 million tonnes at a grade of 2.1% copper equivalent and 811,000 tonnes of copper. So, copper today is $8,600 a tonne US. And when you read some of the analyst notes of where they project copper will go, we're expecting that price to rapidly increase within the next couple of years. So we're very bullish on that. It's a developed mine, so we can get to the bottom of the mine. We can get 950 metres underground. All that investment's been sunk. There's $250 million worth of infrastructure there that we do not need to pay for. And what that means is we can fast track this thing into production down the track. And with that resource base at the moment of 40 million tonnes, we're not like some of the other stories that are out there in the copper space, wanting to go out and drill a geophysical anomaly and hoping there's copper there. We've already got the prize, all right? We're in a real sweet spot for investment. The question isn't whether we've got copper there and whether we've got the prize. The question that we're going to answer in the next year is how big the prize can be. So, everything in this next year for us is about resource growth and setting ourselves up for the future for a rescaled operation. Because, one of the reasons that it got itself into trouble in the first place is the infrastructure was too small, the mining rates and the mining equipment was too small, and I'll take you through a bit of that later in the presentation. But, we're really bullish on the growth of this. We're expecting very rapid resource increase, and I'll take you through the reason why we're excited about that. We also have our foundational asset, which is the Pickle Crow gold deposit in Ontario. We added over 2 million ounces of gold in the space of 2 years through our drill campaigns there, and current resource sits at 2.8 million ounces at an incredible grade of over 7 grams per tonne. And, as Mark alluded to during his presentation, the gold markets have been tough for junior explorers, but we see real value in Pickle Crow. We'll put out some clarity on where we're heading with Pickle Crow in the next few months, but we see it as a valuable part of the portfolio. And those of you that are geologists or know anything about science, my favourite saying is that gold doesn't rust. It's not going anywhere, and we still truly believe in the future of Pickle Crow. The other benefit that we have is we have the proven track record with the team. So we've got a great team. I'll talk about that later. But obviously we've had Steve Parsons come on board and Mike Naylor also at the executive level. And, we've all worked together for years, and I think our skill sets really do complement each other. And there's a good track record of adding value for shareholders through things like Bellevue. So the company itself, we've also undergone a share consolidation recently, and it was one of the rare consolidations that actually, we didn't see any drops in the share price. It was very, very positive. But our market capitalisation is around $200 million. Our current share price is around 53 cents. What's important is even though we picked out this project from the administrators, there is absolutely no debt on it. We got all the streams wiped on the project as well, so it is truly a clean slate to start with. And we also have $17.1 million of cash in the bank as at the end of the last quarter. So we're well funded to complete our first phase of exploration, which I'll take you through shortly in the presentation. Other thing that's really positive is that we've got a very strong institutional following. 45% of the register are institutions, a really good blend of some of the best players in North America and Australia who back the management team to deliver on this project. So, you know, from a corporate point of view, things are looking pretty healthy for us at this point in time. So board and management, you'll see a very strong Bellevue flavour there. Ray, Steve, Mike, KT, all involved with Bellevue, and for those that don't know the story, they've taken an old, run-down mine, invested in the drilling, built the resource up, and they've taken that to production. They've just constructed their mill, they've produced their first gold, and they're just about to declare commercial production. So, you know, we have a track record of taking these deposits and building mines, and you'll see a similar theme come out in this. You know, we're taking a deposit that we see a bigger future for, and we're going to invest in the drilling and invest in the infrastructure and get it right. We also have a good team on the ground in Canada. We've been in Canada now for 4 years, and we've built a high-quality team. So even though we're based in Australia, I spend a lot of time on the ground in Canada, but we've got a really good team on the ground over there that we trust and work very closely with, that we know will take this project forward. So we've started drilling already, and it's been an incredible 3 months for us since we've had this project. Like, we only settled on this on the 20th of October last year, and already we've managed to get 2 drill rigs mobilised, all new mining equipment in there, and start developing a drill drive underground. So we've been working overtime, and we put out our first lot of results. But, you know, what's key about this is the ore body. There's 2 styles of mineralisation. One is an upper, what we call a VMS. It's massive sulphide, very high grade and copper gold rich. And then beneath that we have a broader zone that we call the footwall zone that has big bulk mining potential, you know, some intersections that are over 100 metres at nearly 2% copper. So we're going to have a blend of narrow selective mining at super high grades combined with more of a bulk mining philosophy. But you can see a few weeks ago we put out some of our first drill results, and you can see on the screen. And, you know, our view on that is there probably haven't been that good exploration results from a copper play on the ASX since the early days of DeGrussa. So, you know, we really believe that this has got legs. We've extended the mineralisation. We know it goes for another 400 metres from the existing workings, and we know that we're going to be able to add resource to it when we get into a position to drill it. So, you know, very exciting future. But, you know, you look at some of those hits there combined with the gold, the 47 at 6.8% copper equivalent, you know, some very high grade, you know, copper gold intersections there. What we're trying to do is fill a niche on the ASX, and as I mentioned in the introduction, you know, everyone is bullish on copper. You know, you look around these presentations, you look around the room, everything's about uranium, copper, gold. And, you know, the great thing about copper is, you know, it's a battery metal, but it doesn't matter what battery it is, whether it's a lithium battery, a vanadium battery, a sodium battery. You know, without the copper to move the electricity around, it's just a chemistry set, right? So no matter what happens with, you know, battery technology, it's still going to need copper, right? And there is a real lack of quality copper stories on the ASX and the TSX for that matter. And this is some of the production that you can see from 2022. And, you know, not many decent copper projects that are not owned by majors. And, you know, where we think we can get this to, we think we can, you know, eventually fill that niche between the mid-scale copper producers, you know, and, you know, it's certainly got the scale and the potential to get up to that sort of production range in that big step change there. So we believe we can be one of the higher scale producers that's not owned by a major on the ASX. Real niche opportunity, you know, to really grow this. So It's an underground mine. Like I said before, it's already developed, it's already dewatered, there's a lot of infrastructure sunk, there's already a shaft there. We've already got 40 million tonnes of copper ore at 2% copper. There's been very limited exploration done there because the previous company was running out of money. So they were all about survival rather than exploring. And there's some really compelling walk-up targets to start. So, you know, we're going to do geophysics there and really unlock the potential of it. Operational ready, high grade, and the infrastructure. Absolutely brilliant. For those that don't know much about Newfoundland, it is one of the best provinces in the world to operate. You know, Canada is very much like Australia. There's different jurisdictions within the different provinces that are more favourable to work in. And I would have to say that so far, Newfoundland has been a lot easier than Western Australia, a lot easier than Queensland to operate in. So we've got a lot of government support. We've already met with the Premier, we've met with the Minister for Mining, and we've got support from the highest level of the community and government to get this thing off the ground. Great place to work. And a long history of mining. This is just some of the infrastructure that we actually have there. So as I said before, this is all money we don't have to spend to start a mine. So it's a great platform to really take off from. But this is really the key to understanding this deposit. So what we've got here, it's a VMS Star deposit, volcanogenic massive sulfide. So the key thing for the investors to remember is that this is a higher grade but lower tonnage compared to some of the big copper porphyry deposits that you get. And this deposit, you can see there in the black, the infrastructure that we've already got, that's already mined, that can take big trucks. We've already got a shaft sunk, and the shaft alone, the replacement value of that would be in the order of $100 million. So, you know, we're really blessed there. But, you know, we've got this upper zone, which is super high grade massive sulfides, and beneath that we've got that zone that's more applicable for bulk mining. You can see in the high grade upper zone some of the intersections. The drilling that we've done proves that it goes more than 350 metres down from our existing infrastructure, so we know the ore body continues. And you look in that red area there, the 1,200 metres, that's where our 30 million tonnes of our resource sits. And one of the things that we really liked about this when we were doing the due diligence was 460 metres further away from the mine, there's a step-out hole. The one hole that these guys did, 102 metres at 1.7% copper. So we know that the ore body continues. So I'll let you guys do the maths. If there's, you know, 30 million tonnes in that upper part, and we've still got mineralisation that we don't know where it ends, you can see the potential is there for resource growth. But the big question you may have is, well, how do you drill it from that existing position? So we are solving that by mining an exploration decline. We've got the jumbos on site, we're mining it already, and we're using the drill platform to really get in at the right angle to increase this resource very rapidly. And we've been telling the market we aim to put a resource update out in September. But, you know, that resource drive, since we did this slide, we're further along. We're already 250 metres into it. So, you know, really a lot of progress in a very short time frame. And this is what it looks like in long sections. So, you know, this is what the next year is about, defining the size of the prize. And, you know, we're already making plans that if the ore body still continues beyond there, we're going to keep going down and keep extending the exploration drive, spiral down and keep going. So, you know, the potential to grow this resource is very, very significant. Just in cross-section, what it looks like briefly, these upper parts are the high-grade VMSs. So they are up to 20 metres thick, up to 100 metres wide, and they strike over a kilometre, and there's multiple lodes. Some are more gold-rich than the others, and you know, one of the things the previous operator had was a massive stream that they didn't get the benefit of the gold, and through the insolvency process we've managed to get rid of that stream, so all the revenue that comes from the gold now improves the economics of the project. And beneath it you can see the sort of scale of that lower footwall zone. You know, look at those intersections and the width of that, that's amenable to bulk mining. So we can see a large scale, you know, 3 to 4 million tonne per annum operation eventually coming out of this particular deposit. You know, one of the reasons it failed previously was that the mill was only 500,000 tonnes per annum. So even if you didn't add another tonne of copper, it would take 80 years to process that. So, you know, I'm not going to be around in 80 years, and don't think many people in this room will, and we don't have the patience for that. But we do believe that there's potential for a seriously upscaled operation there that can do 3 to 4 million tonnes per annum maybe. We're doing the study work in the background to determine the optimal size, and especially feeding in that new resource. So just a few more. It's running a little bit short on time here, but these are some of the photos of site. So as you can see, this is not an old mine. It's not a mine that's underwater. It's not mucking around with historic mining. That's our jumbo down at the face right now. That's our drill rigs we've got operating, and you can see some of the ore faces that are there, exposed, ready to go. All right, so, this is a great operation, and we'll be very quick to restart compared to a greenfields discovery. So look, just to wrap it up, the news flow is going to be really constant and exciting over the next few months. A lot of drill results. We put out our first results from that upper high-grade VMS zone, and pretty shortly we'll be able to put out some results on the big bulk lower footwall zone underneath. And I think visually they look reasonable, and I think we'll get them out and be pretty excited by the potential of them. And as I said, we're fully funded through to that phase of the development and the 40,000 metres of drilling. So really compelling copper story, and really excited about the future. But if anyone's got any questions, we'll catch up after this at the booth, and thank you for your time.